For incoming freshmen at UAF, what I would say to them is really take advantage of all of the opportunities that the university offers. The university is so student-focused, and there are so many things that students are able to do during their time at the university. Not to take advantage of them, I think, is really, it would be unfortunate. And I didn't take advantage of everything, but I was really grateful for the things that I was able to take advantage of. And I find when I'm able to participate in something that the university offers, I end up meeting a lot more individuals who either inspire ideas or have connections that end up being a great benefit further down the road, or that I just end up seeing in Fairbanks again. So having those relationships build and just really generate from opportunities at the UAF has really been a gift. And I've always been amazed to seeing the faculty and instructors light up when somebody actually is interested and excited about something that they're putting together. And so seeing that energy coming from other people really energized me. So I was inspired to be an artist when I was a kid. I always knew that I wanted to do something artistic, but I didn't really know how to make that take shape into anything. Even during high school, I knew that I wanted to go to school for art, and I started at an art school and just never really finished because I figured I could be an artist on my own. And the older I got, the more I realized that I didn't have the internal momentum to really make that happen in a meaningful way. And so almost in my 40s, I decided that I wanted to go back to school, and I was working for the university and I really didn't have an excuse not to. And at the time, so I work at eCampus. At the time, Owen Guthrie worked in our office as well. And he said, "Hey, you should take a metalsmithing course. I think you would like it." And he talked about all the things that he had done when he was in that course as well. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." And I signed up for it and totally loved it. I had never even thought about doing it before. And I took metalsmithing for many semesters and then switched to sculpture too, and just really was amazed at the diversity of materials and processes and everything that happened throughout those years. And so I'm eternally grateful to him for kind of igniting that fire again and encouraging me to go back and finish that degree. So now that I've graduated, probably things will stay the same. I will continue to work as an instructional designer for eCampus. I have a small metal and sculpture studio that I do on the side and in my free time, and that free time is in air quotes, but it's really the work that I enjoy doing the most. And I'll continue taking classes at UAF as long as possible. I really love continuing to learn and being curious, and I love the community that I found there, particularly in the art department. Everybody there is really thoughtful and creative and really supportive, just sharing ideas, and that environment has been wonderful. So many faculty, particularly in the art department, have played big roles in my development as a creative thinker. And so maybe I'll talk about a few of them, but first and foremost, I really appreciate the time that I had to work with Wendy Croskery. She's the sculpture instructor, and every time I take a sculpture class with her, I'm blown away at her ability to problem solve and her breadth of experience with materials, and just thinking out of the box or thinking around a conventional process to do something in a different way, or thinking around a creative constraint, and learning And watching her do that, I think, has really helped me grow as a person, not even just as an artist, just as a person, to think more fluidly and just a little bit less constrained. And so I've appreciated that. And then Patty Carlson, too, she has been really helpful just teaching processes in the metal shop. The metal shop at UAF has a lot of tools that are hard to get as a beginning metalsmith. And her experience in that studio has been helpful, just learning processes for forming and casting and things like that. I appreciate that too. And then just talking with instructors that I've taken classes with, like Zoe Jones, who teaches art history, and she always has a class that she'll do during the semester that is outside of like the canon of art history things you're supposed to learn. And those classes are just really eye-opening. Like, there are classes that she's done that have been focused more on women's issues and focused more on things like, let me think if I remember correctly, the World's Fairs. That was a particularly interesting class. And just being able to participate in a class that encouraged discussion that was open-ended and really creatively focused was fun and kind of broadened my perspectives on art and kind of placed that art and the artist in a particular point in time in history. That was helpful. And my conversations too with Marika Guthrie about just being a thoughtful person and artist have really helped me grow as well. And I've appreciated those greatly over the years. While I've been taking classes at UAF, I haven't received any scholarships. However, I have been an employee at the university, and as an employee, I have taken advantage of the tuition waivers. And so it's like a scholarship in almost every way. And I've really appreciated being able to take advantage of that assistance, because it's really freed up my resources and my time to focus on studying. And I feel very privileged to be able to do that. I know not everybody has that opportunity. If anybody has the opportunity to work for a university, and particularly UAF, it's a great benefit that I don't think a lot of people know about. So it's something definitely to think about if you're thinking about going to school. I feel like all of the projects, specifically the art projects that I've done at UAF, have been significant. They've all been a process of learning and uncovering what's happening in my own mind and what I'm observing in the world. But I had the opportunity to go to a residency in Helmsen, Germany with Wendy Croskrey during my time in the BFA program. And during that residency, a number of other practicing artists joined from Germany and then from other places, other schools in the US. We all met in Germany at this old farmhouse in the countryside, which was an amazing location, but it was the first time that I had seen practicing artists kind of land in a location and work on the business of art. And just art, just focus on art and whatever it is that they were really interested in pursuing for 3 weeks. And that was so eye-opening, just to see people wake up in the morning, even if they didn't feel like they were ready to make something, they were in the studio thinking and working with their hands and just talking with each other and just throwing ideas around and making them come to the surface, even if they weren't quite ready to see those things to finish. And I had personally, up until that time, been more of a when I feel like it kind of artist, like it'll eventually come out and I'll just let it come out on its own time. And that doesn't really get the business done. And so being able to watch these professional artists make it happen and do the hard work when it's time to work really helped me understand, like, this is what it looks like when you're actually trying to make this a profession. And watching all of the pieces that they produced in just 3 weeks was amazing. They had produced a large enough body of work that there was a show that they could put together in a gallery. So I owe a lot of creative inspiration from all of them. Biggest challenge at UAF. I have been part of the BFA program and pursuing my BFA for many, many, many years. More than a traditional student really would spend at a university. So a lot has happened in that amount of time. The biggest challenge, I think, though, is time management and balancing what's happening in classes with what's happening in my professional life and what's happening in my own creative life and just life in general has been a challenge. Learning to juggle all of those things and make time for people in my life so they feel valued has been a really important skill to develop. And learning to deal with larger global issues while all these little seemingly insignificant parts of my own life that are important to me but not to anybody else are happening. So COVID happened during this BFA, and the financial exigency that the university was dealing with, that happened during the BFA. So being able to process all of these things that are going on in life too during completion of my BFA was an amazing process and really cathartic. To understand exactly how I feel and was feeling at the time during all of these things. It's like, these things are happening in life. It gave me the opportunity to sit back and just examine how I was feeling and why, and express that in a way that I could express it. Like, I'm not a great writer and I'm not a great speaker, but I could make some art, and turning that into a form of expression that is effective really has given me a lot of confidence as a person and helped me grow that way. And that was something I wasn't expecting during this process. Something interesting that most people don't know about me. So many things. I think that something that's really odd. I make a lot of jewelry, and I love big statement jewelry, and I love the pieces to be big and the metal to be big and the colors to be big, but I don't wear a lot of jewelry. So it's definitely satisfying something inside of me, but I don't wear them. I just sell them right away. I am baffled as to why I was selected for this. There's so many interesting and capable, intelligent, and achieving people that I've met along the way at the university that definitely I feel like I would love to aspire to their level of motivation. Something that has helped me along the way throughout the years, I think, is and I feel very privileged to work for the university and specifically eCampus, because I had some flexibility in my hours to shift if I needed to, if I was taking a class or had a deadline. The people at eCampus really made it easy for me to fit school into my schedule. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm really grateful for the people that I met during my time at UAF. Again, the students and the faculty, I just took their enthusiasm and the things that they shared with me and tried incorporating them into the work that I was doing to help feed my own motivation. And it really did. And I appreciate everybody that I've met and encountered along the way, because I couldn't have done any of the work that I did without them. And just showing up and doing the work, I think, is the hard part of finishing a degree. So however somebody can make that happen, it's like, find a way to make it happen and it'll happen. And just appreciating the people along the way is really what made it an interesting process for me. That is a good question. What is the biggest takeaway from college? I think that before I ever started school, way back as a traditional student, I thought college was an experience where you went and you learned stuff. You sat in the classroom and people imparted knowledge on you. And the longer I've been in the classroom, the more I've realized that what was really the most valuable parts of the college experience to me was the relationships and the relationship building. It was meeting people that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet otherwise, and being able to talk to practicing professionals, again, that I wouldn't have access to otherwise, and just being a part of a community that is part of the community that I'm living in, and part of a practicing professional community, and then part of the student community. There's so many levels of community at a university, just designed to help people grow and to foster ideas, that universities are really special places for that. And it took me so many years to realize that was really the value that a college university brought into my own personal life. So I wish I could go back and tell the 20-year-old me, like, this is the thing you're going for, not just, I'm going to have this degree and then I can be an artist. Like, that's, of course, a goal, but the enrichment that the university community gives really is something that you can take away for the rest of your life. So that's been really wonderful.